A railgun is a gun that uses electricity instead of gun propellant. We've demonstrated that if you build it big enough, you can fire it and it works. We're here at the Naval S&T Expo displaying the Navy's full-scale railgun prototype. A railgun is a gun that uses electricity instead of gun propellant to accelerate a projectile. And so what's new or exciting about that is it gives you much greater velocities than the powder guns that we have on ships today, which opens up a whole new realm of how we can use a weapon of this type. If you imagine this armature that's being accelerated down the barrel, it's going from 0 to Mach 6 in 10 milliseconds. It comes out of the barrel, it hits that atmosphere, and it's traveling so fast that it just sort of ignites. You see the slow motion video, so it looks very dramatic, but if you don't see the slow motion video, it would just look like a quick flash. This is about the size of testing at the small scale. As you can see, something this size will go through 6 plates of steel before it finally gets stopped. And if you can see what this does, imagine what something like this is going to do when it gets to its target. In the projectile, there will be a section here that will have the guidance and so that you can steer the projectile, and there'll be a section where you have your payload. To fire a railgun, you need pulse power, what we call pulse power. Capacitor-based pulse power, where you can store up the energy and then release it in about 10 milliseconds. Before we got started, the size of the pulse power that would be required to fire a gun this size was about this size, and we've been able to shrink the size of the pulse power for the same amount of energy to fire the gun from this down to this. So as you can see, that's a tremendous reduction in the size of pulse power. We're at the level where we're at sizes that are reasonable for integrating onto a ship. As you can see, we've demonstrated that if you build it big enough, you can fire it and it works. The next phase of the effort that we're in right now, the next generation after this, you will see an autoloader on the back. You'll see that it's being designed for shooting multiple rounds per minute. We've worked out all the controls techniques with the pulse power to be able to fire multiple rounds per minute. Charging, releasing, that much power is quite a tremendous feat and accomplishment that we're engaged in proving and demonstrating here in the next 2 or 3 years. We did the calculations and figured out how much energy it takes to fire a railgun, how many jelly donuts would be about the same amount of energy. We were operating a much smaller gun and it was 2 jelly donuts, so this is probably a dozen donuts.